Like to call to order the District of Chetwynd. At this time, can I get the opening statement read, please?
As we gather today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we are privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in their best interests. Thank you.
Thank you. Prior to adoption of the agenda, is there any new business from council? Seeing any? Staff? We're good? Okay. Adoption of the agenda. Prior to adoption of the agenda, Mayor would like to request a variance of the to vary the agenda. I would like to speak prior to the delegation, just a short speech. I need a motion.
Motion to accept with the addition.
Second. Okay, all those favor, carried. Okay, adoption of the agenda with the variance.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Minutes from the regular council meeting held on November 6, 2023.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Any errors, omissions? All those in favor? Carried. I will start with Remembrance Day and remembrance of a friend of mine who has recently passed away, Charlie Lasser, who held the office of Mayor of Chetwynd for 22 years, the longest serving mayor Chetwynd has had. He was a very instrumental in getting the hospital built in our community. It is one of many accomplishments that Mayor Lasser had. I would like to pay respect and reflect the loss of his life and lives that were from the wars that are going on today. It's with a heavy heart that I lose a friend close. We talked, our last time was on Remembrance Day. So this touches my heart, and I have a heavy heart. That's why it's hard to read these things when it really means a lot to me as a person. So if you don't mind, would you mind standing and pay respect to Charlie and the people that have losing their lives and lost their lives in the wars that are going on? Hi. Lest we forget. Okay, yeah, let's carry on with business. Delegation, Sergeant Juanice Antonio Stevens.
Nancy, thank you. Honey. Your worship. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Worship and councillors. Name Wendy Santonioni Stevens, Nindigiba Tikshinishi Anishinaabe. I'm from the Anishinaabe Nation. I'm a Kwanindondam. My totem is the bear clan. Ninga Nima Janet Antonioni Stevens. My mother is Janet Antonioni Stevens. Nus in Baba Ronaldo Antonioni. My father is Ronaldo Antonioni. No Commissioner was Stevens. My grandmother was Stevens. Nini Notionist. Archie Stevens from Gilligan ZD. My grandfather is Archie Stevens from Gilligan ZD. My grandfather was one that raised me. He's always taught me to introduce myself properly, and you can't introduce yourself unless the people you're talking to know where you're from. And the only place you come from is your parents and your grandparents. Thank you again for having me on the treaty territory as well. What a beautiful territory, and I gotta say, our town is looking spectacular with all of our lights and festive seasons. I was there for the treaty light up ceremony. What an amazing ceremony that was with the singing and Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus was there and everything. So it was very, very nice to see. What I wanted to speak about today was a little bit of the reports that have happened from the last quarter that we had. I have been a little bit late on this, mostly because we have sicknesses, including my own, and there's limited people in our which have been discussed in the past. So it is a little bit late. We're almost getting into the third quarter reporting, which will happen in January. So this is for the July to September reporting. I have, I believe all you have the numbers, but I'll just go over them. We are looking to improve on our impaired enforcements. Again, with the limited numbers that we have, it's not going to be as high as we're hopeful for this year. We are expecting not to have the numbers that we wanted to at the beginning of the year. So we did get 11 impaireds off of the road this last quarter, which brings our numbers up to 16. It's really important because especially going into the Christmas season, people anticipate more alcohol consumption and traffic at the same time. People are busy a lot more. So we're to be out there a little bit more. We do have some overtime coming in from our traffic services, which are coming from Dawson Bacon, Port St. John's, Walls North District, which comes out of Prince George. Our distracted drivers, we've got 2 people who are distracted driving. This is up from 0 last quarter. We did get a spotting scope, which really helps with seeing this. We're actually able to see 1 kilometer in advance. So some of the things we see with people driving is interesting, but one of them is that they are on their cell phones. So just a reminder out there, we will be out there with our spotting scopes, and just because you can't see us doesn't mean we can't see you, right? So really important to know for our drivers out there. Motor vehicle violations, we were able to take warning and tickets were given to 68 people. That's up for 148 total for this quarter. Most of those do relate to speed. We do have a couple seatbelt tickets. We did have a number of unsafe vehicles on the road, and some of them were what we call box ones. Basically, if we tell them to go and get their vehicle checked out at motor vehicle inspection, right? Some of them are, their things to do that. Some of it will be taken off the road immediately. The ones where they're taken off the road immediately, much more severe, they have bald tires, brakes aren't working, e-brakes aren't working. Those are the ones that are being taken off the road immediately and brought to an inspection facility. Another initiative that we have is our reduced substance. For alcohol and drug seizures, we have 2 this last term, which brings us up to 4. Park patrols, we had 35 during the July to September quarter, brings it up to a total of 90. And our school patrols, we had 20 school patrols, which is not just patrols around the schools, because we're not taking those into account. That's going into the schools and having conversations or participating in events. So if there's a Remembrance Day event, we've had 2 people go to 2 different schools on Remembrance Day. Many events will go to that. We have some things coming up with the high school, which includes a ski trip. We'll be sending out around that. And then also their fun days. I know a number of schools will be having that next week because of it being the last day. I don't think it's just fun for the kids. I think it's like fun for the teachers as well. So finally, our last initiative is our community communication effectiveness. That's basically attending meetings. We went and attended 29 meetings last quarter, which brings us up 62 meetings, and our victim services referrals, we had 40 last quarter, which is a big jump from the first quarter, which was 28. We just had a managerial review at a talk. One of the things that came up was that our detachment needed to do more victim service for girls. I know our victim services heard that. I think she was a little bit taken aback. She doesn't know where she's gonna find time to do that. So I think we'll have a little discussion on that one. I think we do quite a bit of victim service for girls. I think it just comes to things like, you know, people involved in an accident. Sometimes we get, you know, accident victim services quite applicable. It's hard for some people to get back into driving again, to be feeling safe, especially when they come up to that specific location that they got to the accident. It can be very difficult to get past that. So one of the things that our victim services can do is referral out to hospital counselors and other agencies to get over some of those anxieties that people have getting back in. Our human resources, currently we have 2 hard vacancies. That means vacancies that are completely not filled at all. So there's a soft vacancy, which includes your sick leave or your maternity leaves, or your leaves with pay, other leaves. These are hard vacancies. There's no legal in those positions, which is good because we're down to 4 at one point. We have 1 general duty constable that's coming from the island. He's got over 2.5 years service, and he'll be starting on December 17th. We're really excited to have him start. He's already been introduced himself at the detachment. And then we have 1 cadet arriving in February of 2024. That'll bring us down to 1 member that we're needing to be fully staffed. We'll also be losing our IPS member, which is our Indigenous Policing Services. He should be leaving somewhere around January, most likely somewhere February. He doesn't have staffing action yet, it just takes time. So just given that we know how long it takes to have someone move from one location to another, it may be January, March, maybe April, that will lose our IPS member. So currently we're in the discussions of having our Indigenous Policing Services member staff with another person from that unit, rather than having another general duty unit. We want to have that background. It's really important to keep our liaisons with our Indigenous nations strong and with a very good connection, not someone who's just learning every 4 years. So the one other thing I'd like to talk about is, I believe anybody in Chetwynd are very acutely aware of the violence that's been happening in our surrounding areas, Dawson Creek and our Fort St. John's. So I wanted to talk to the community as well as mayor and council. Well, what we're going to do to ensure that there's no spill into Chetwynd. So I've spoken with the criminal operations branch and our criminal intelligence analyst from North District. And they've done research, and the possession with Chetwynd detachments that appears there's been no files that have associated with the violence that's been coming from the surrounding areas, which is a good thing to hear. So there may be some violence, but it's not associated with gangs or criminal organized crimes. And that being said, we still want to keep it that way. So the police, a very heavy police presence in our surrounding areas. North District, which is coming from Bridge Door, has taken a 3-pronged approach, which includes prevention, intervention, and suppression. And they're doing that by having the uniform gang enforcement team from the Combined Forces Special Enforcement Unit. It's not a lot of big words, but it's a separate unit within the RCMP. And then also the emergency response team are in the area conducting checks on known offenders, on their residences, like their properties, and with their associates. So just stopping them, checking them, talking to where they're at. And all of that develops intelligence for us. We also have our North District General Investigative Section here. They're doing file reviews of the recent violent crimes that have been happening. And they're also writing down tasks to make sure that the files are organized, prepared, so that they can ensure charging rules for these files. And finally, what E-Division headquarters intelligence sections are engaged to develop and understand and create the opportunities for an intelligence-led police investigation, which help with the investigations, the enforcement, and the suppression, rather than just being behind the 8 ball and trying to catch up and responding to the calls. We're trying to do more of an intelligence-led policing. I know that you might be able to, we've been spoken to about with Councilor McDonald about some of the things we're doing here in town is that we're having this COP program being re-engaged. So we've had that several years ago. And I believe, I'm guessing that's possible that with COVID that had to stop for a little bit, maybe it can stop before that, where you have people riding in vehicles and just being the ears and eyes on the road for the police to see things in and around the area that we may not be always aware of, right? And I'll let Councilor McDonald finish. I don't know when you're going to be addressing that. Do you want me to address that?
You can, as much as you want, I got a little spit, so I think I'll save it up.
Councillor, when you speak, we were on the air, so we can using mic. Thank you.
I'll let you say whatever you would like to say, and then I've got whatever I've got to say, and I'm sure.
Okay, sorry, so Council McDonald's really in charge of doing the COP program for the district, and I'll let her, finish with that. It's actually really exciting paired up with the district as well as with the Southeast Harm Prevention, Society. And then we're gonna leave, hopefully, once we get that started and really established, to work into rural areas with the rural crime watch. But right now, we're just trying to work on one thing at a time, and again, we try to spread out too many things, you're risking everything failing, right? So we want to try to make sure that this becomes a very strong, established program within the community. And I believe, as fast as I believe I might have been speaking, I do apologize. I believe that's all I have for now, but I'm very open to questions and anybody has any.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant Denise. Just one for the public's sake, IPS acronyms.
Yes, I'm sorry. IPS is the Indigenous Policing Section.
And when we talk about what is going on outside our communities and other communities, we see it on the news, and that's very disturbing, and it's very good that we have proactive rather than reactive. It's important that the citizens and councillor and mayor know and understand what is going on. So thank you very much. If there's any questions?
Thank you, go ahead.
And ask Compton. Thank you. Bylaws. District of Chetwynd Revenue Anticipation Bylaw number 1167 2023 requires first, second, and third readings.
A motion for first, second, and third readings?
Second?
Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Carried. Community reports. Community reports. We'll start with the mayor. I had my report with the Remembrance Day, so I will continue and go down. And it's Tansa Nichiwaganok. That means hello, my friends. I read the opening part, so I will continue at November 14th. CAO and myself met with Darren Van Horn and staff in Dawson Creek for the BC wildfire. He informed Steve and myself of the possibilities of the initial attack unit that is posted here in Chetwynd will be moved to Dawson Creek. This is a provincial it's not from the office of Dawson Creek, it's the province that possibly moving this initial attack. One of the reasons BC wildfire got us involved was that they think the possibilities of moving the unit away from where it's close to where all the forest is, because around Dawson Creek it's mainly farm, so we are right in the area here. One of the reasons that was given was they were getting out of the housing, BC wildfires getting out of the housing, that meaning putting up staff in Chetwynd and other areas like Fort St. John. So they are getting out of that. It's a cost. We're looking for more information so that we may advocate for to keep the initial attack here in Chetwynd. What we're looking for information is to give us info on what it would take to respond to an initial attack in Chetwynd, Boberley, Sekonka area, and west of here. So when that information comes through, we will have a better idea on advocating to the province on why we need initial attack in Chetwynd. So we are waiting on that information. On Tuesday, November 22nd, I, myself, and the CEO met with School District 59. Just because I haven't met with the school district in 5 years that I've sat as mayor. So it was very informative for myself to sit with School District 59. On Wednesday, on November 22nd, we were invited to a breakfast hosted by Vitrio Minerals Limited of Golden, BC. They presented Chetwynd and surrounding areas west with an opportunity of having a sand mine open up west of Chetwynd, possibly 2025, with respect of getting the proper permits. So they need the permits prior to them, breaking ground. They've done all their research. The sand is for fracking. They import fracking sand from the US. So it is coming from a long ways. So just in the carbon capture alone, not using all the transportation fuel to get it here. So that is one thing, but we have an opportunity here in Chetwynd to be able to have some of our opportunities of employment with Vitrio. So it was very, very informative to us. And they were, after the meeting, they were heading out to see West Moberly, and I am not too sure if they were stopping in to see Soto, but they informed us that their next meeting was with West Moberly. On Wednesday, or on November 23rd, on Thursday, I attended the general meeting of the Loyal Prairie Forest. Partners are West Moberly, Soto, and Chetwynd. So this was our annual AGM. So it was very well attended, and it gave us an opportunity to partner with our First Nations, which happened years ago. And one of the things that came from it, it was kind of there's a sign there that says Chetwynd on. So we're in the process of changing the sign, because it's very important when you go into a place, you know exactly who is residing in the residence, right? And it's West Mo, Soto, and Chetwynd. So that signage is being changed. And I believe we'll have something on our agenda here in the next little while to give our to deal with that signage. December 1st, attended the Christmas tree light up, as Monique alluded to. It was very well attended. We had hot chocolate, hot dogs, coffee, and we did sing. They tried to get me to sing, but I said, I dance, I don't sing. So that was very, very nice. And it was a little bit chilly, but overall the attendance was great, and people were smiling and singing songs. It was totally a great experience for myself. So, and my grandkids, they loved that. November through December, these are some of the things that I attended. It was a round dance in Soto. Round dance meaning that we go there and we have food, and we eat with our people, our ancestors, our cookums, mushrooms, grandparents that have passed on. And we have food with them, and they come to sit with us at that round dance. And we dance, and then you're given a gift. So these are very important things to the culture of Soto, and it's like that around the world of giving. And this time of year is very important that we all know and understand that giving is more than what you receive. So it's the time of giving on the 25th of this month. And I was to the seniors community dinner hosted by the library. That's another great event that I attend, and it always puts a smile on my face because the seniors act like little kids in there. So it's very important to me to go and be part of that, because I do act like a kid once in a while, and My wife has to straighten me out, but that's one of her jobs. So anyway, it was very, very well attended again. And I'd like to thank the library and for hosting that. It's totally awesome that we have things like that for our seniors and to attend. And I went to the Soto Elders Traditional Dinner hosted by the Soto Daycare staff. So there's another couple things that happen. We have elders and we have daycare, the very, very things that we all live for. And that means the young people and the seniors, the elders. So that ties in with what we do here in Chetwynd and what we do out at the lake. I attend these things because I have grandkids that are SOTA members, so it's very important to me that I attend these events, and it's just something that culture does save lives, and I've heard that before. And it's not just Indigenous cultures; it's cultures around the world that do save lives. And it's important that we all have that gift of saving lives. Okay, any other reports? Good, Councillor.
Thank you. So as Sergeant Antonio Stevens mentioned, I too have been helping the community example. I'm not sick, I just have a throat. So in my role as RCP liaison for the district, I have been a part of bringing community on patrol, or the Citizens on Patrol program, to Chetwynd. The COP program is a partnership between the District of Chetwynd, RCMP, and Southeast Crime Prevention Society. In October, I went to the Alberta Citizens on Patrol Association workshop and met COP groups and RCMP liaison officers from all over Alberta. I was met with passionate individuals who gladly shared their extensive knowledge, as well as any adversities that they had faced. I was even fortunate enough to be in a breakout group with the RCMP liaison officers, who again shared things they found beneficial for their relationships with COP groups in their communities. After the workshop, I shared my takeaways, and the district staff were able to find a potential grant to cover startup and first-year operation costs. The DOC Economic Development Officer, Ellen Nakavani, will provide an update when she hears about the grant application results. Recently, on December 7th, the DOC, RCMP, and SPCDS, which is the District of Chetwynd, RCMP, and the Southeast Crime Prevention Society, hosted an information session at the rec center. There had been 9 people in attendance, with more interest from outlying areas such as East Pine, but they weren't able to attend. There have been 3 applicants so far, but more to come. Sergeant Antonio Stevens is still welcoming any individuals interested in joining to reach out to her with questions and get an application form. Informational brochures for the program can be found at the District of Chetwynd office and the RCMP detachment. Any questions? Did I go too fast? Yes.
Good.
Thank you, Kayla. So 9 people attended. That's awesome. Can you just give us a little, like maybe some examples of what a volunteer would do?
Okay, so a volunteer would pick a time slot, and they would either walking or in a vehicle patrol a certain area that the RCMP liaison officer said could be potentially a problem area. So you would either sit and park and watch. You are the eyes, ears, and voice for the RCMP in the town. So you are an extra set of eyes looking over areas. So for example, the vandalism of the bollard lots.
Bollard, yeah.
And so the citizens on patrol would monitor that area and then report back to the RCMP if they see anything suspicious. They would also complete a report at the end of their shift or volunteer time, and we would meet once a month to discuss what potential initiatives to move forward with. And there's volunteering aspects of it as well. And it's also supposed to be a very social thing. So you would go out in pairs, and then there would be the meetings would be social, and the fundraising part of the social. So it's also being involved and invested in the community and social.
Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? Very good. Thank you for that. Very important.
sorry, one more thing.
Continue.
Sorry. I too attended the Christmas tree light up, which was wonderful. My children appreciated it and loved it. And we also walked in the parade, and I gotta say, the parade was amazing this year. It was beautiful. It was long. The floats were like really wonderful. And I've heard some excellent feedback on the fireworks. My daughter, who went to Ontario and saw the fireworks at the Parliament building, said that these were better.
You keep going. Thank you. So any other reports? Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you. I attended the Chetwynd Chamber of Commerce meeting held recently. They held their AGM November 7th. They have some new board members. So their president is Angela Bulkwell. She works for Outlines for Life Society. Carl Rose of Lone Star Sports is the VP. Directors are Tanya Richter of Soto, Corey Broadhead of 7-Eleven, Crystal Stewart of Scotiabank, and Matt Lavis of TD Bank, and Pat O'Flynn of West Fraser. Naomi wanted me to mention a few things. So the 24 Days of Christmas Shop Local program has the best participation yet, with 24 businesses participating. So that draw is taking place on December 20th. So the deadline would be the 19th. She also wanted to mention that anyone interested in joining the chamber, more than welcome to pop in her office for a membership form. And along with membership comes representation at the provincial and national chamber levels and exclusive access to member perks, including special rates for hotel and car rentals, HR assistance, as well as peer leader shipping rates, just to name a few. Also, community volunteers, as well as sponsors for various events, including the Harvest Fest trade show and Business Excellence Awards, are more than welcome. She'd also like to thank everyone who popped in during Moonlight Madness Friday before the parade for complimentary hot chocolate at the chamber. And for the Christmas turkey roundup on December 6th, they raised over $5,000. And we just wanted to highlight that Vitrio was a main sponsor there. This month's December lunch will be with the mayor, held on December 14th. And then the January luncheon, they're hoping to have Pink Renewables with an update on the Can 4 pellet plant. And that is everything.
Thank you very much. I love the participation. 24 and how many days to Christmas? 24? Isn't that just like, that's the way it goes? Thank you, Janet.
Welcome.
Or council work. Any others? We're all good? Okay. Staff?
Yes, just as a further update to the moving the wildfire attack crew, we're still waiting for the data, but they're providing us data with how that impacts our response time for a crew to get on a fire in this area and west towards Hasler and the Pass. They were hoping to have it for me for this meeting, but they were unable to. So as soon as I get it, there'll be a report for council that'll be coming up. I would anticipate early in the new year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And just for more information is that we did inform both nations, Soto and Westmoreland. All right, continue on the discussion items. The letter from, we'll carry on the discussion items. Letter from Community Futures Peace Liard dated November 10th, 2023, letter of support.
I'll make the recommendation that council provide a letter of support to Community Futures Peace Liard for their funding application to the province of British Columbia Community Workforce Response Grant Program to administer the Northeast Primary Care Paramedic Training Program provided by the Columbia Paramedic Academy.
Second.
Discussion. Go ahead.
I just have a comment. We had met with the BC paramedics within the past year. And he stressed the importance of training individuals in northeastern British Columbia to fill the holes, like the hiring holes that we have in our area. So I'm really happy to see that there's work being done to train paramedics here so we can keep them here.
Okay, thank you. Any other? All those in favor? Carried. DI2, letter of South Peace Health Service Society, letter of support.
Make a recommendation that council send the Deputy Minister of Health, Stephen Brown, a letter of support, including the following resolution. That the Mayor and Council of Chetwynd recognizes the importance of affordable patient accommodation to access health care, and that the Ministry of Health continue to fully support the funding of the Boltries House operations.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Back when the Southeast Health Services Society started, there was a member of council that sat on that board of his earnest manner at the time, and myself as a community member. I don't know if they had any Chetwynd representatives on that board, but it would be interesting to find out into whether or not someone from council would be able to have representation on.
Good question. I believe they were asking last year, and it fell off because they were having issues with their directors, the board of directors, so they were in a bit of a dilemma there. So we didn't apply, or we didn't ask anybody to get into that position. But now that you did bring it up, we should at least think. They were asking for either councillor or a member of the general public to sit on that board. So maybe we should have a look at it and put out information if someone's interested in the community, or one of us are interested. Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor? Carried. PI3, email from BC Council of Forest Industries dated December 6th, 2023, 2024 Kofi Convention.
I'll make a motion that council authorize the mayor or alternate to attend the 2024 Council of Forest Industries Convention in Vancouver, BC, April 10 through 12, 2024.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Correspondence. Letter from the Office of the Minister of Housing dated November 9th, 2023. New legislation to support local government housing initiative.
Motion to receive.
Second.
For information.
For information.
Okay. Second by Councillor Dack. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, go ahead, Councillor McDonald. Are you voting?
I was.
You're voting? Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Information items. I want to add 20. Anything? Good, Councillor?
Motion to receive I-1 to I-20.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, reports for action. RA1 2024 council meeting schedule.
Make the recommendation that the 2024 regular council meetings be held in the council chambers at 4:30 p.m. on the dates shown.
Second.
Oh, and that the 2024 council meeting schedule will be made available to the public by posting a copy at the municipal office.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. RA2, 2024 council committee appointments.
I'll make the recommendation that council members be formally appointed to committees, boards, and commissions for 2024 as outlined in attachment A to this report.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor? Carried. RA3, deputy mayor appointments.
I'll make the recommendation that the following council members be appointed deputy mayor for the designated periods of 2024 as shown below.
I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Carried. RA4, Peace River Regional District Board appointment.
I'll make the motion that Mayor Coutre be appointed as director and Councillor Deck be appointed as alternate director to the Peace River Regional Board for 2024.
Second.
Discussion. No? Good?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. RA5, Council Appointment Civic Properties Commission.
I'll make that recommendation that council authorize the following council representatives to be appointed to the Civic Properties Commission for 2024. Mayor Coutre and Councilors Smith and Moore.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Carried. RA6, Appointment of Auditor for the District of Chetwynd.
I'll make the motion that the chartered accounting firm of Sander Rose Bone Grendel LLP be appointed as auditor for the District of Chetwynd for 2024.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. RA7, Zoning Amendment Bylaw, 52nd Avenue Southwest.
I'll make a recommendation, the District of Chetwynd zoning amendment bylaw number 1166, 2023 be introduced and given first and second readings, and that a public hearing be scheduled to obtain public input on the above bylaw on January 8th, 2024 at 4 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Councilor Deck?
Don't they normally come with a name or something when they put in an application, or is it just a secret, or?
The name of the applicant, do we have those available? It's Ambleside development. It'll all come with a public hearing. There'll be maps and everything.
That usually just
Yeah.
No big deal. Thank you.
Councilor Nelson?
Could we get a description of the location of this proposed zoning bylaw change?
Staff?
Yes, it's, how best to put this? It's down past the corner at the daycare past the post office. So if you turned left on the corner and went towards Mayor Coutret's house, it's that vacant property across the street there. Does that make sense? Everybody know what I'm talking about? Okay. Across from Little Prairie, yeah. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
I had to Google Maps it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Carried. RA8, Little Prairie Community Forest, Inc.
I'll make the motion that council authorize the Little Prairie Community Forest Inc. to use the district logo on its signs at the main entrance, interpretive center, and walking trails at the community forest.
Second.
Discussion? All those in
I
favor?
have a question.
Oh, question? Okay, good.
Is-
Councilor Smith?
Is this what you were talking about before? So Soto and Westmore are also
Yep.
putting their, okay.
Yep, they are going to their council and asking the same question. Any more?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Nelson.
Thank you. So further to your conversation about changing the sign, are you referring to the large chainsaw carving log that says Chetwynd Community Forest? And I can't imagine they're gonna be putting our logo right carved into wood on that. Do you know what that's gonna look like?
I can't tell you because then once they get their what design they're going to put on it, and then that would be their decision on what they do with the sign, I believe. So, is that correct, Steve?
Yes, your worship, it's basically still in the design phase.
Yeah.
So chief and council, mayor and council have to approve the use of the logos. And then they'll be coming forward with a design concept, and then it'll kind of go from there. The original sign just represents Chetwynd. It doesn't recognize Soto and Moberly First Nations. So as all three are partners, they want to correct that.
Thank you.
Because it was just Chetwynd, it was just the Little Prairie prior to becoming partners with Westmore and Soto. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. RA9 2023 contribution summary, donation box at the Sandy Dump Station.
I'll make a motion that council authorize administration to distribute $1,000, which is the total of contributions collected from the donation box at the Sandy Dump Station in 2023 as follows. $333.35 to Shriners Club and $666.65 to Little Prairie Heritage Museum.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Okay,
So it was
Nelson?
truly $1,000 even donated? Just curious. It seems
Such a round
it
bird.
really is.
Staff, go ahead.
I'll defer over to our CFO.
I don't believe it was exactly 1,000. I think it was like 998 or something like that. It was close.
Yeah, we topped it up.
So we topped it up to two very charitable and worthwhile organizations. I like it.
Any more? You guys want to add any more money? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. RA10, Chetwynd Volunteer Fire Department tender equipment.
I'll make the recommendation that council approves $55,481 to be included into the 2024 capital budget to purchase the additional equipment needed for the replacement of the existing CDFD water truck. Okay.
Any discussion on it? Councillor Wark and Deck.
Don't have anything.
Yeah, oh, okay. Councillor Deck.
I'm still having a tough time that they aren't being forthcoming with $55,000 for the truck. They said they're going to pay for it to begin with. In hindsight, we didn't really squabble over the extra $1 million that we asked for the library.
Yeah.
And I think an extra $55,000 isn't a really big ask from the regional district. Seeing as they said they're going to pay for the whole thing anyways to begin with. That's just my opinion.
CAO has some information or Lad Pellet.
Yes, we've the Chief Golub and I have had numerous communications with the regional district. We're frankly not overly pleased with it either. There are things like radiant. You know, there are things like putting the ladders so that a person can take them off at chest high instead of trying to lift them up over their heads. They're important items. They're all part of having a functional tender that allows us to put a crew on a fire, like especially a wildfire, and help our rural residents out. The regional district held really firm that this is what they had budgeted, and they wouldn't exceed it. This is what they supplied to other communities, even though the budget that was established was pre-pandemic and pre-everything, blowing out of the market. I don't have a really good answer for why they don't want to, but I have taken it all the way up to their CAO, and we've had some, I'll just say that they're spirited and very frank discussions about it, and I've expressed how unhappy I am that they haven't ponied up the full amount for replacement tender. It's just they're holding firm to it, and that's about all I can offer.
And I wasn't questioning the necessity of the
Mhm.
equipment that's going on. Just questioning the lack of enthusiasm to help or pay for what they said they paid for. Especially in hindsight of the the extra $1 million we kicked in for the library.
I used $1.5 million for the library. I used the $25,000 that council has ponied up for the digitalization of the records for the library. I've mentioned to them numerous times how it's starting to feel like we're kind of a one-way street in a lot of ways, and that it needs to be two-way. They say that we'll be happier once we start doing the plans for a new fire hall, that they plan on contributing to that. But I have no idea what that actually looks like at this point. But I agree with you. I agree with you, Councillor Deck. I don't think it's fair. They agreed to replace a tender, and what they're replacing is a standard, basically chassis water truck that, as we've seen already in the fire season of 2023, wouldn't meet their residents' needs. So we're trying to provide a vehicle that we can actually be an effective fire suppression team with, and they are fussing about $55,000.
What direction should council be giving to staff? Is this what Councillor Deck is referring to, or are we eating $55,481 from our budget? So, from what I hear from CAO, is that the last avenue? Is that our last effort to continue to press that they gave us that they were paying for the tender? Do we have any other avenue of letters to the board of directors of the PRRD? I suggest that maybe that should be one of the things that we bring up in front of the board.
And that's always an alternative. As a CAO, our protocol is staff to staff. Staff have told us that there's absolutely no budging on this, that they do not have the money budgeted, allocated for it, and that there's no wiggle room for them at all. The only other recourse of action at this point would be for elected officials to directly engage with elected officials and get from a board level, if the board gives the staff the direction to fully fund the tender, then that's what would happen. But as far as staffing goes, I've gone as far with this as I possibly can. The chief and I have gone there. We've had emails, phone calls. We've been really, really clear and blunt that this, they agreed to replace a tender to help us fight their residents' fires. And that's as far as it goes.
We're gonna do that right now, Steve. We understand all that, like Councillor Deck said.
Yeah.
We understand all that. So your ask is from the director that sits on the board at PRRD level, that I bring something up. We draft something up between myself and you and any councillor that wants to get involved, of saying that this is something that's very important to our community. So it'll be in that fashion. And it's very important to the PRRD residents around us. So if that's something that the council and myself would be interested in and bringing it to the board, I will do that. So Shall we? Counselor, Deck?
Unless we eat it and then we just go after the money
For
on
the,
fire hall. That's gonna be a pretty big ask of us too.
Counselor?
Maybe 5, 6 million.
I have great respect for my colleague counselor that's, directive to save tax dollar monies. I don't think we can delay on this purchase. It sounds to me like our CAO has pushed it as far as it can probably go. And my suggestion is that we keep our relationship strong with the PRD and keep smiling and really open up our pockets for that fire hall, because I feel like they are gonna step up and they are gonna help us. And, we've got to pay for this water truck. We need the help. So my 2 bits, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Counselor Smith.
So in there it says $30,000 toward the purchase of the equipment has been submitted for consideration. So is that the 55,000 minus 30? So we would only be on the hook for that, or is the 30,000 already accounted for?
Staff? Chief or CAO?
Let's be for the chief.
The $30,000 that went through UBCM has been approved, so that we're able to put hose, nozzles, and ladders on the truck. So the $55,000 is for improvements on the truck itself. So again, they told us that they weren't putting any equipment onto the truck. So we've taken that granting opportunity and taken it away from other things that the fire department could have used.
Good, Counselor Smith? Okay, any others on this matter? All those in favor? Carried. So no letter or no directive to Director Coutre on the PRRD.
Your worship?
Am I allowed to ask a question outside of, like, now that the discussion's done?
Yes.
Does the PRD representative for our area ever come and do delegations for council?
They would on request, I'm
Mhm.
assuming. But we haven't approached them for it this last year or so. I can't speak to prior to me, but yeah.
Could there be a benefit to having more of a presence from our PRD representative?
That it is a question that council has, and that's your opportunity to make it clear that if you want that, we as a council can make that happen. It's not a staff thing, it would be us as council to decide that. So if that's your request, put it forth, and then we go, okay, let's invite him as a delegate or the director.
It would be very nice to see him from my
Okay.
side. I don't see him on a regular basis.
Yep.
I don't have any specific questions for him,
Mhm.
but it would potentially give him an opportunity to address council in regards to
Mhm.
certain things as well. Like, I'm sure, like, you've done your due diligence and have done your best job going to the top of the PRD, and we appreciate the work that you have done. I would like to hear potentially from his side as well, the background of that decision.
Okay, let's do it. Let's ask him to come and as a delegation in the new year.
I will have the invitation
For-
right quick here.
Okay. Thank you. R11 Northern Housing Initiative Program.
I'll make a motion that council approve the application to Northern Development Initiative Trust for the Northern Housing Incentive Program for 2024.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Councillor Smith and then Dick.
I'm just wondering, is this basically what they already had in place, just renewing it?
Ellen, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Dick.
So do we have, potential, buildings that are gonna be applying for this, or builders?
We could have, if you, it's just like the facade program, if the program is available and a developer comes in or a person building anything more than a 4 apartment building, we qualify for the dollar door. So it's an incentive for programs. So it depends on the construction season and what we have for interest, but it's nice to have the program open if that's the case.
Thank you.
Ellen, did we have any this year in 2023?
Yes, we had our first step forward to council for approval, and that was for the apartment building that is being proposed to hopefully start seeing some sort of.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Warwick.
A question around the statement not-for-profit developers.
So, for example, it would depend on the application, because if you're in for-profit, which means in business, mainly institutions wouldn't qualify, basically, council work. Like colleges, if they decided to do a building, they would have to partner probably with a for-profit, not a for-profit. So housing, women's shelters, I know that there was a conversation about housing and special legal, but they probably would qualify because they're another government. So I think they're just trying to stay away from them.
Got you, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Carry. RA 12, Carver's Road Walk and Lighting Funding Application and Trail to Bridge Accessibility Project Connecting. Funding application.
I'll make the motion that council approve the application to NDIT for the Community Places Grant for the Carver's Row Walkway and Lighting Project, and that council approve the application to SPARC-BC for an accessibility grant for the Trail to Bridge Accessibility Connection Project.
I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Carry. RA 13, Chetwynd Downtown Revitalization Enhancement Funding Application.
I'll make that recommendation that council approve the application to NDIT for the Main Street Revitalization Capital Grant for the Chetwynd Downtown Revitalization Enhancement Project.
Any discussion? Councilor Smith?
I see that it was already included in capital planning, so did the cost of it change for the first part, so the overall cost is gonna be more? And but it's still covered?
Are we going CFO or EAO?
Well, it's, phase one is, as you know, we didn't quite get done this year, so phase two is a slower one next year. And all this does is basically cover that. Desiree, am I missing anything on that, or is that pretty much the synopsis on it?
That sounds about right. I haven't really been involved in this funding at all. It's been spearheaded by Ellen. We didn't proceed with water main and repaving this year, so I believe we're just applying for another phase of funding that would then, take some of the $841,000 down to 500,000 or thereabouts.
This was such a complex project because it did involve water, sewer, lights, and all kinds of things. So I apologize for the murkiness of the detail, but there's a lot of balls in play. Ellen, am I missing anything? Can you?
Desiree, yes, so basically the first component, really simply, NDIT offered a $500,000 grant. Phase 1 and 2 covered, I believe, $250,000, and now we're got left to tap into $300,000 of the funding, so it will reduce the planned project, which was included in the capital that Desiree attached for the $841 million.
Any other discussion matters? All those in favor? Carried. RA 14, Community to Community Program, UBCM.
I'll make the motion that council provide a letter of support to Soto First Nation for the application with UBCM for the community to community session to be held at the Reclamation Conference October 7th through 10, 2024, and that council authorize mayor and council to attend the upcoming Reclamation Conference at Soto First Nations October 7th through 10, 2024.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. RA 15.
Before we jump on this next topic, I just wanted to ask our CAO if he feels like I should recuse myself from this conversation as chair of the Rotary Club.
Yes.
Step out. Thanks.
The recommendation, the council approve funding application for the Rotary 400-meter tract for Rotary Park from NDIT for the Recreation Infrastructure Program. And the council approve funding applications for the Rotary 400-meter tract for Rotary Park from BC Alliance for Healthy Living Society for the Active Communities Grant Program. I'll second.
Discussion on it? All those in favor? Carried. That did it really smooth on this. RA 16, FCM. RA 16, FCM Community Building Retrofit Grant Funding Opportunity.
I'll make the motion that council authorize staff to apply for the FCM Community Buildings Retrofit Grant for the completion of a greenhouse gas reduction pathway feasibility study, and that council support the project and commit to its financial share of the project.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Councilor Deck?
How many buildings or what would we looking at retrofitting?
It would be a study for all of our district level buildings, and then after that, that study would tell us which ones we could potentially retrofit.
Would be doing the study.
I would assume it would go to a tender.
We can issue it for proposal. We received our purchasing policy doesn't require that for consulting projects. We have I received one proposal that allowed me to start the grant application. And their Sustainable Projects Group, they've conducted a number of these studies in the past. And yeah, we haven't dealt with them so far. They're based out of Vancouver, BC. I haven't seen anyone from the immediate vicinity that has conducted these large-scale building assessments. I can definitely issue it for proposal, though.
And the reason I asked that is just because they understand what 40 volt is and stuff like that.
Yeah, I suspect that they would, considering they generally will use computer modeling programs where you can input the temperatures that we see here.
Very vital statistic, great, 40 below. Okay, any more? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. 28, we can just carry on to RA 17, extreme heat risk mapping and assessment.
Make the motion that council approve the extreme heat risk mapping and assessment report, and that council approve the education material for the extreme heat risk mapping and assessment project partnership.
It's second. Discussion on it? Councilor Ward?
It's over 100 pages. I did not read it. And I'm wondering if it could be explained in a nutshell.
Okay, so UBCM offered funding, West Marlborough and Soto and the District of Chetwynd applied for a $60,000 grant. We received the grant. What it is basically is a modeling when it gets too hot, and then it's gives you all of the information on what our current temperatures are, and then they project them. But then the last bit of it basically is the key thing, and you look at that, endorse that into your emergency planning if necessary, and have a plan of what to do if you need cooling centers, and then moving forward is the steps for it. So Westmore has theirs, so has theirs, and we have ours. But yeah, we are working together on that same level. And then the plan is on the next one that we partner together, we will look at cold initiatives. So what we do when it's extremely cold and what we have in place to support.
Thank you, Ellen.
You're welcome.
Good, Councilor McDonald?
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. I appreciate that. It was quite a substantial document and a lot of information to digest. There are, when it comes to the cooling and warming centers, and you guys have like within the communities, the District of Chetwynd, Soto First Nations, and West Marlborough First Nations have your warming and cooling centers. Will there be additional sites, or will that be in the plan? Those are the only centers recommended for individuals to go during those like heat dome times?
Well, it would be fundamentally driven by need. So right now, with our current weather, what we have is adequate. If the need grows, then so will the need for facilities. But at this point in time, we seem to be doing okay. I mean, we offered cooling centers last summer and the summer before. I don't know if we had any real takers on it. So right now, not a huge issue, but it's kind of from being a proactive kind of sense, so that we understand what the situation is and we can react to it if weather continues to worsen or the climate continues to worsen.
Thank you.
Councilor? No.
It is a lot of information, but it seems all very important and preemptive, and I'm just happy to see that we are working with our local First Nations communities all together. It makes a lot of sense, and I think it'll end up saving lives.
And I have one, and it's always an important one, and maybe the use of these places with the extreme heat is the transportation of somebody getting there. All the people that can't afford the air conditioning fans, or if their house is a little bit too hot, they need transportation there. So maybe that's one of the things that we might need to add to all of this information is the transportation part. Because I know we don't have a cab, we don't have a bus service that will take them there. So we need to be able to at least think about the transportation part of it. Anyway, we'll, is there any more comments or discussion on? Councilor Ward?
Just the comment that, yeah, that is a really good point. I would assume is in the plan. Soto First Nations and West Mulberry First Nations, they know how many members they have, so they can account for everybody. Chetwynd is very different.
And this is absolutely right. This is part of the conversation, and part of the partnership all the way along is how do we get people where they need to be as well? So part of like Ellen's senior busing program, for instance, partnering with Tansy would be a critical component to the success of this program. And we've been talking to Soto and West Mulberry as well about what their transportation looks like as well. So they have like Soto is people are aware, we're building that large new community center, right? So that would be functional for their community and will take some of the pressure off of our community. But it's very holistic. Like we're trying to mesh all the different moving parts like transportation, identification of what each community might need, who's the isolated elder, who are the people that maybe have an underlying health condition. It's a big report because it is really a complicated issue. And a lot of it is based on computer modeling for what the climate looks like ahead. Is that accurate? We don't know if it's computer modeling. Does that answer your question?
Can I just add one more point, just because Mayor Couture, you brought it up in regards to, maybe actually just had a recent announcement. We do have now, as of this week, a cab service in the community. It's being advertised and they are advertising right now for more drivers. So I'm happy to say that we do.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor? Okay. Reports for information in building permit values.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Questions, discussion? All those in favor? Oh, okay, Regen?
Just office renovation. Why would that need a permit?
If it exceeds a certain value, it requires a permit. I can't remember exactly what that dollar value is, but it's pretty low in commercial spaces.
Any others? All those in favor? Carried. No new business. At this time, is there any public questions? Adjourn.
Hi, I'm Jillian McDonald, local Tim Hortons owner for Chetwynd. And it's Camp Day, and all of our proceeds from hot and iced coffee go to the Tim's Foundation camps. At the restaurants locally, we're doing a bunch of different incentives. Pick a sucker for a chance to win a prize. We are doing Toss a Toonie for prizing, as well as selling Camp Day bracelets and Camp Day socks. So in the 30-year history of Camp Day, we have nationally raised $225 million and helped send over 300,000 kids to camp between the ages of 12 and 16. Come on down to your local Tim Hortons, or if you're in Chetwynd, come see us. We have police officers washing windows in the drive-through lane, which is always a fun time. Please come and help us send a kid to camp.
It'll all go on if we're here or not, so who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? You